On today's episode of Days of Our Lives, Chad makes a significant decision with a final farewell. Bonnie tells Justin everything, and Dimitri charms Gwen. Stephanie answers a call from Chad as we enter Salem, informing her that he has a matter to attend to. When he is evasive about when he will be released, she becomes a little worried. Chad hangs up the phone and sulkily makes his way over to Abigail's grave. He decorates it with flowers and then sits down to speak with her. He still finds it hard to accept that she passed away a year ago. He still has frequent thoughts about her and the child they were discussing having. At times, it seems as though he never lost her. And then suddenly he hears a neighboring branch snap. Abby? Instead, Julie is there with her own bouquet of flowers. Julie claims that Abby is constantly keeping an eye on him, and he wonders what she thinks of him and Stephanie. Julie is certain that it would be beneficial. She recognizes his conflicted emotions, but she is confident that Abigail would want him to be happy and create room in his heart for someone else. They discuss his vision of Abigail following Clyde's capture. Julie asserts that Abby would want him to move on with his life, whether it was real or not. Despite the fact that Julie insists he deserves happiness, he still feels guilty. Perhaps he is a little hesitant because he is wearing his wedding ring. Maybe. She nudges him to extend self-forgiveness. His survivor's guilt must be released. Pass on. He removes his wedding band and declares his undying love for Abby as she walks away. Alex knocks on Stephanie's door and welcomes him in, telling her that he has a job. He declined Maggie's offer to work for her again, and accepted Brady's invitation. Steph is surprised. You accepted a position with the opposition. What does Maggie think of that? Stephanie is unsure whether he cares about Uncle Victor or her. He only wanted to give her the good news, but he needed to go before Chad returned. I don't want to enrage Chad. He's with Abigail today. Stephanie is rather certain. Alex notes that Chad is still sporting his wedding band. I'm serious. But Stephanie is aware of it. She just has such a cool attitude about living in Abigail's shadow. He does, however, hope Chad is ok. Leo is startled to find Dimitri as he answers the door to his and Gwen's room. Leo attempts to seem foolish, but Dimitri claims they still have unresolved business, and he won't go until it is. He enters through the door and reminds Leo of the gems he took from the Algerian peacock. Leo is grabbed by the shirt, and he promises to pay. Leo cries out for assistance, and Gwen sprints outside to save him while warning Dimitri to back off or he'll be sent back to jail. After giving it some thought, Dimitri receives a text from Mommy Dearest, urging him to talk to Gwen more. He'll be cordial. Before Dimitri can change his mind, Leo leaves. Leo is well known to Gwen, who notes that he has a good heart and makes me laugh. She is asking if he is still available for an interview. Because of the intimacy, he prefers to do it in her room. She wants to keep everything businesslike, and he simply believes that the space would be quieter. Fine. He continues to buy them lunch while heaping on the charm. Despite having a doubtful expression, Gwen inquires about the real Dimitri von Leuschner. His mother, whom he adores dearly but who may be needy, reared him. He frequently felt like the adult. He was Oscar von Leuschner's son. He wasn't around very much, and when he did, he was icy. He might as well not have been in my life at all. Dimitri breaks down, revealing that despite his wealth, there was no unconditional love in his life. He believes that his dubious decisions were motivated by the me-against-the-world mentality it left him with. He only desires to be liked. Does he currently have a crush on anyone? No. There was, but he kept hurting himself, so he turned around and left. He believes Gwen could be familiar with how that feels. He overheard her talking to Kristen about Xander. They have sort of a connection, she concurs. At The Spectator, Chloe gives Xander an amazing ad purchase because he knew she'd be excellent at the new position. Chloe is relishing the stress-free day she is having without Gwen. Xander proposes his new hire take a break so they can spend more time together before she departs to interview Dimitri. He can't stop thinking about their kiss, but before he can add another, Maggie interrupts. She offers him Alex's previous position. Maggie responds that it's not up to him when Xander asks what Victor would think. To Xander to decide. Maggie responds that it is not a huge thing and that she still believes her daughter would forgive him when he asks how Sarah would feel. Since things at work have been getting better lately, he isn't quite ready to leave the paper just yet. Maggie turns to face Chloe. Ah, well. He ought to at least consider it before rushing out. He confesses to Chloe privately that he sometimes wishes he could go back and slap Victor in the face, but he's declining the position. He desires to collaborate with Chloe. He also cannot leave her with Gwen. Leo walks up to collect his paycheck as they bend in to kiss. Chloe asks Leo not to bring up Xander's departure with Gwen. She's currently eating lunch with a hottie, so whatever. Then, Leo holds Sarah in front of Chloe and cautions her that Gwen has always been Gwen's sidekick. While Sarah is on the phone with Bonnie, Bonnie assures Sarah that she won't reveal anything. She is greeted by Justin, who enters the room and asks about Chicago in detail. After Bonnie shows him pictures, he inquires about Sarah. Bonnie sputters for a while before confessing she saw her, and he deduces that Rex must have mentioned her. She grabs some water as she becomes hot. Justin surmises that there is a problem. She's behaving oddly. He is curious as to what is happening. She mentions that he is not only her spouse, but also a lawyer. She hands him a $1 and informs him that they are now in the attorney-client privilege because he is now representing her. Sarah is expecting Xander's child. Justin understands Sarah's decision to remain silent once Bonnie reveals what occurred, but he isn't sure how Bonnie knows. Maggie arrives to overhear and inquire, "Who's pregnant?" as she continues to reiterate the need for the pregnancy secret to remain a secret. Bonnie says Mimi and Maggie are ecstatic, but she would adore having grandchildren once more. In the last scenes of the show, Chad visits Stephanie to offer his apologies and to let her know where he had been. He doesn't owe her an apology, she reasoned. She comments that the meeting went well before she notices his wedding ring is missing and smiles in gratitude as he pulls out his work. Bonnie worries if Maggie purchased it and accuses Justin of destroying her ability to tell lies. Maybe it won't matter, he tells his wife. Sarah must eventually be truthful. He tells Bonnie to be quiet before leaving. He must simply avoid Xander as soon as he enters the room. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel, Daily Bulletin News, and stay with us.